Best case scenario, just talk around.
Hello? Yeah, hello. Yeah, I'm playing Persona 5 Striker. It's right after the first Persona 5. Evidently, they liked the game so much that they just prolonged it. I think this is the best Persona, honestly. That's the reason why there's another replica of it. Yeah, it takes a story after the first 5. The first one of this series. Which is kind of cool. Now, it's not an RPG style, it's more of an action-based style. Which I'm not 100% fond of, but it's not bad. A lot of button pressing and shit. But I just want to talk about something that they just recently just discussed. I love using the logic of video games and putting it in the real world and then like analyze it through the real world means. So we have a person here named Alice. She was bullied in high school and decided to not just forgive and, forget people and that, and to say, you know what, shit happens, that people grow past certain thing. She wants to take revenge. I always tell people, the idea of revenge is so disgusting because it doesn't really do anything besides make more evil out of it. And people love to use that you can use it as a fuel, I guess, to a certain extent, to do something iconic. But it's still, to me, it's like you have to keep that revenge feeling, keep on going, or you're going to lose that kind of like plan in your head. Like you say, a fat girl that dates a guy, and the guy like gets in good shape or something like that, and decides to get rid of his girlfriend because she's fat and lazy, doesn't want to do anything. You say, like, in a woman's perspective, she'll get all angry and mad. All her girlfriends will get angry and mad. But the real idea behind it is to motivate your partner, to motivate people to do things that are actually good for you. This is why people say things. They might be negative. You might think it's like being harsh. But the idea of it is it's a caring mechanism. This is the reason why when we love and care, we seem to discipline more to make things better off for them. So if someone does something wrong, you correct it. If no one corrects anything that no one does wrong, then the world is just all like, okay, well, where do I go at? That's why guiding points in life, you always need a good structure. They always say with a bad foundation, you can't build a house on top of it. You can use many concepts in that. It's like, not having a good engine in a car. You don't change oil in a car. Your oil gets thick and nasty. You get distorted. You get hatred. And your fucking engine blows up. Kind of like your heart. And these are the sort of things that you're like, have to look at in life. I know it's really hard to look at it in some ways or another. That's just why I love talking about these logical, emotional, psychiatric type of things that happen in video games and in real life. When we distort ourselves to being hateful, we distort our reality to being hateful. We'll accept happiness because love always seems to get into us because we're born with love. We're not born with hatred, we're born with love. Some people say, I'm born with hatred, and that your family, to a certain extent, everyone has sort of love for you. It doesn't matter where you go. And people can kind of go through life without knowing love. Say they don't know love at all, but you're never alone. God's everywhere. God's always with you. And there's always going to be someone that's with you. And it doesn't matter. So, like, when we see people that are struggling, yes, is it hard? Yes. Is it a difficult thing? Yes, it's a pain in the ass. It's going to be difficult. There's going to be issues. There's going to be distortions. There's going to be, lies out there. There's going to be people out there that are not going to love you. Not going to be people out there that are not going to care for you. There's going to be people that are going to distort your reality to meet their demands. Which I say that's what a lot of people seem to do in life altogether when you get popular and like Well, see, like, one of the ladies I was talking about on that, she's, fuck, I don't know, maybe like in her early 20s. She's a TikTok person that plays Marvel Rivals and just talks a bunch of shit about people and just slams people down because she has money and that. I don't know how, but you know. Sometimes if people get power, they seem to abuse it to a certain extent of being prideful. And so this lady went on a Marvel tournament, and the one guy was like probably one of the better Marvel players in that. And he was sitting there trying to explain to this, young lady, I was like, hey, let's do it like this because everybody else is going to do it. You can't win when you're sitting there trying to do something that's stupid. Like you're trying to play with a character, a weak, very heavy damage character like a sniper. I think it was Black Widow. And the guy was like, let's just go triple support. Let's go support, and support the heavy, support like the tanky, get like that, this stuff that you're supposed to do, because support always seems to help out a lot, because, status effects they're part of the game for a reason to knock down enemies' defenses so you could be able to sit there and pummel them more. But if you're, have offensive characters and they have supports and tanks are meant to take damage. That's the whole point of tanks. So if they are DPSers hitting tanks, and the supports can buff up the tank's defense so high, and you buff up their attacks, they're basically like miniature DPSers with super huge amount of defense. Of course. It's like having the Hulk versus Black Widow. Who's going to win? The Hulk has to fucking win. Hulk's way too strong, too tanky. And the amount of power that he can generate is full, catastrophically strong. But of course, in a game of that, they try to balance it out in a way. But you look at the reason why the person did it is because she wanted to look cool and use a sexy character with the big boobies and that, because, and her desire and the way she thinks as a woman, because she's not really that attractive, she's baseline attraction, like a barely average looking woman, doesn't look like she has anything to resort to being like highly attractive. She might resort to something to say, I want to be looking like this girl with the big old titties and ass and that, because that's the type of desire that you have. I see all these Instagram models and that. They start off just posing that. They got real boobs, they got real butt and that. They look real. And then later on, when they start getting popular, I see it all the time. They're attractive, but they get these big, huge fucking titties and that. They're always plasticking up. Everything's plastic, And then they look good, but it's not natural. And the guys' minds, when they see all these celebrity women out there, naturally women don't have tits like that. They don't have the perfect round silicone fucking tits. It just doesn't exist. And they see their tits are not fake. Well, if you look at pictures of them 2-3 years ago, you can tell that they had real boobs. And you look at them now, you can tell that they were done. They put fucking silicone in there. And they always tell people that, it's like, yeah, you can put stuff in there, it makes your tits, they put it underneath the sack, and it makes their tits look bigger than that. And it just distorts their mind. Because when someone always has something with luxury, they always seem to, inside their minds, think that they're better than other people. And then a problem occurs. The idea behind all that is it doesn't last long. Eventually, you're going to start seeing people that are going to be better off than you. Yeah, I always go down with women because men intentionally don't do this as much as women seem to do it. Because men always had power. Men always had power, period. But nowadays, the reason why I'm talking about the whole woman thing, because these are the initial things that seem to have the most emotional effect on many people, and that is how women act. If men act a certain way, be masculine, women don't like it, but they don't talk about it nowadays. They don't talk about it enough. And and that becomes a problem. Because if they don't talk about it, then inside their minds they're delusional to be like, oh, I like it, but I don't want to talk about it, because if I talk about it, it's blasphemy against my own lady friend. It's like, just because you talk about a guy being masculine, that means you're attracted to that. Because when you see a guy that's not masculine, doesn't take charge of life to a certain extent, then that devotes a problem with you. You'll start disliking that man. You'll start hating on that man more. Because he's not taking charge. So if that's like a father figure that you have, that's just sitting there, that doesn't take charge, doesn't do the things he needs to do, you know, he may work in that, but he does something to keep things going, you get to be appreciative over it. Like, you know, I appreciate over my parents, and I appreciate over my dad busting his ass, you know, and all the stuff he did. It was just like a normal thing for us to do. I grew up spoiled. I grew up, you know, not without, you know, a huge amount of money in that, you know, but as we grew up and that, you know, we started devoting more and that, we all started getting jobs and shit. And then we kind of just, like, did what we did, you know. I buy things to, you know, make things better for the house and that. I buy little things here and there. You know, family stuff. Stay together. But going back to the whole distortion of why people always want to take this revenge and that. You know, I bring it up a lot on my channel and that, but my ex was like that. It's the only person I have ever really got to know really heavily as a, you know, being that she's a woman and that. And she always took the negative side about it. And I tried to ask her questions about it. I said, why is revenge? Why do you want to take revenge? Because revenge gives you the motivation to keep on moving forward to certain things. She said, you know, it's like, she brought up the whole fat girl thing. She's like, oh, if a guy breaks up with a girl because she's fat, she gets super skinny and then she starts posting pictures for revenge to the guy. And I said, do you think the guy really fucking cares? And I asked her that, like, do you think the guy really cares? Because he'll probably just get another girlfriend. I say, the reality that a woman lives is different than the reality that a man lives. We should be super emotional. Because we're emotional, we break down, the world ends. That's what it is. The comfort of a woman is so heavy nowadays. And you can even see that in video games and that. Like this one. You have hardworking women that I'm working with. They all have a desire to help people. But the ones that don't are always the bad desired people. They're very hateful. They're very, you know, oh my God, back in my past and that someone treated me bad, so I have to have revenge my whole entire life. Every time I see them, I hate them. I had bullies in my past. And if I saw them nowadays, I'd be like, okay. See, that's how you're supposed to deal with it. But for some reason, with woman philosophy and woman psychiatric or psychology, it's always so much emotional. Like, your emotions change based upon how you believe in things. And sometimes it's changed on a dime, which has been happening since dawn of time. So women always bring up periods and that. And so you know why women have periods? You know why they're supposed to be weak? Because you're not supposed to do all the fucking work. That's the reason why. You know why men don't have periods? You know why men have to sit there and do the things they do? Build all that muscle up, get all that pain, resilience in. We become like tanks, so we're supposed to. We're supposed to be able to walk, you know, in the hot and the cold and sit there and suffer. And not saying the woman can't do it. Of course they can. But the man's supposed to lead it. That's what gives the woman more power. So that's why God made woman and man. He made it a combo thing. A woman's supposed to be the support of the man. And the man's supposed to be the tank and the DPS to deal with the consequences of life hitting it. They're like the wall. That's how men are supposed to be. That's why, like, masculine men, even like myself, see pussy men. I call them pussies. They cry and bitch and moan like a bunch of fucking babies. And I'm like, are you fucking for real? No one says anything when a man calls a man a pussy. Okay, because, you know, there's a fine line of difference. But if a man calls a woman a pussy and says, you know, you're being a coward right now, fucking, you know, do your thing, stop bitching, they will always want to attack. There's a reason why men get attacked for when they call out women for doing stupid shit. Because they know that women don't have the power to do anything. So they go by the emotional things. They say these is words, the sexualization shit, because they think everything, that's their default. And that kind of goes back with, you know, so like, why do women hate other women so much? Women don't betray a woman for a man any day of the fucking week. I've seen it. I heard of it. I mean, I talked to other women about it, and they see a man that's really fucking hot, and they really like him that, they'll literally drop their fucking bitches off, like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck him. You guys go fuck off. And they do it all the time. And then they crawl back to him. See, women know other women. And of course, these are not traditional women. Because traditional women don't backstab each other. They embrace each other like they're supposed to. Because traditional women, inside their eyes, they believe in love and they believe in support. It's going all right back to the whole revenge thing. Don't think I was just talking about with Persona. You're always going to have hateful people out there. Why? They're hateful because they're not traditional. They don't know how to love. They just hate because that's all they know. They enjoy things that happen to them, yes, but then they become selfish and they want everything to happen for them because they believe, because of pride. That's what's bad about pride. When pride kicks in, they start self-worshiping themselves. They want people to worship them. But if someone sees them, especially when they're righteous, basically traditional, they look at them as devils, as demons. And they, like, iconically love that shit. And it starts to distort their reality. Because they don't get enough attention. It's like, I work hard all the time. I'm like, everybody works fucking hard. The only way to kind of change it is have them finally admit that they see it from someone else's perspective. And they start to look at like, wow, I am a bitch. Yeah, you're a bitch. So go back to the lady at work. I always bring her up in that, not out of, like, I guess, disliking, but out of, like, knowing that psychiatrically, the spirit world's real. That people are condemned by demons all the time, and they don't even know that they are condemned until they actually look at themselves and they actually see it with their own eyes, which is really hard to do because you have to have the Holy Spirit to be see the stuff that you're doing is completely wrong. So you have to have something infiltrate in your spirit first to kind of push the demons out. And it happens in a slow fashion. Because just changing your spirit takes time. Because you're changing your body too. Yes, it can happen in an instance if Jesus did something, but just like the whole point of like Jesus kept on healing Mary Magdalene, you know, she was a whore, you know, she fucked around a lot of dudes and now she's a drunkard to that. The reason why he kept on saying no, it's not your fault you give into it because your flesh is weak. You're weak. Humans are weak as fuck. Yes, there's stronger moral humans out there than that. But they don't discuss things in society that much. They kind of keep to themselves. Reason-wise, because corruption comes down to speaking. When you're dealing with other people and that, sometimes it's best just to let them fucking talk. Because you could distort your own reality by reacting to them. And sometimes it's really hard. You know, if you're a very caring, kind person, now you're going to want to react to people. You're going to want to say, hey, you know, what you're doing is wrong. And they will fight against you. So going back to the lady at work and that, kind of just going all over the place with this, but that's a fun thing about psychology, especially about what Jesus says. He basically is psychology. He is everything. She actually worked pretty hard today in that, you know, and honestly, I was very surprised, you know, and I told her that she did a good job, you know, and she worked actually legitimately hard. I mean, I can't say that the stuff that she was doing was massively difficult. No, it wasn't super difficult. It was just very time-consuming because it was cleaning. Cleaning always takes a lot of time. So the time of it takes a difficult amount. Because there's not much stress to because you're not dealing with a time frame, so to speak. Because, you know, we were just really slow and it was, you know, just one of those days. We were just like, let's get more cleaning done. And so she mopped a bunch of stuff in that and she was doing her job really well. You know, and she finally decided to do dishes and that, which, you know, we've been telling her, you know, and sometimes you need to go there. And if you do like 10 dishes, we got little square pot pans and that, 10 little square deep pans and that, it can help out a lot because that takes away from what we have to do later on. And this person works really hard because she wants the validation. I say, well, when you work hard, you get praise, but you're not going to get praised in the way you always want to think that you do. You're not going to get praised by someone coming to you like, hey, good job. Praise happens in many different ways. Sometimes being part of the team to yourself is praise. So if you do something that makes the team be like, okay, well, it's like, oh, stuff's done. And then you just like walk out in silence, you're already getting praise because what you already did is being recognized. It's not praise to you directly. It's knowing that these people are recognizing it and their minds are already praising you without speaking. We don't need to speak to praise people. It's just notification to a certain extent. Oh, it's done. I mean, they might talk it to you or talking to other people. They might bring it up to you, but most times they talk to other people. It's like, oh, that person did a good job. But a little bit of praise through vocalness directly when you're speaking to someone and not directly with the praise is good. Yeah. What I'm trying to say is that there's different ways of praising people. People want that attentional praise, which is like direct attention. I say you can have indirect praise, which is what normally, say, adults do. Like, if I work in that, I know I'm doing a good job because shit's getting done. I get indirect praise. No one comes out to me and say, hey, you're doing really good, you know. I don't really like that because it numbs what I'm accomplishing by getting too much praise. I don't want to get too much praise because if I'm part of a team and I'm doing something, then more or less likely I'm going to get it no matter what. Yeah. Well, that's the whole initiative thing that we have to deal with people that are not guided right. You know, they distort their own selves because of how they live their lives at home. That's one of the biggest things that I have to try to keep pushing at my job. And they want to live the easiest life they can at work. I said a little bit of hard work goes a long way. When you get used to actually working hard, but someone has to do it. This is why I think when people get in the work, they get so comfortable, and they know that other people are going to do it for them. And it distorts your reality to think that everything should be done for you. Like the other day, we ended up closing early in that yesterday because of the weather. And I had this really very attractive, she was young, but she was very attractive, very cute looking girl in that, she's a young lady in that. Probably an older teenager, maybe like 17, 16 or something like that. She came up to the lobby doors and she was asking to come in. And she was doing all that cutesy shit, that tend to doing that. I'm not going to say that she wasn't unattractive. She was very attractive. And, she was trying to get in. And I said, the lobby's closed. We closed early now. And she was trying to do all that cute stuff and that. And I told her, I know you're trying to do cutesy stuff. And yeah, you're very attractive in that. And she got all that fucking attention. Her brain fucking exploded with attention. She was getting validated very heavily because she's like, this man knew what I was doing and then fucking basically gave her all this emotional attention. And she had that prissy stuff and that. She was full of happiness. Not to say attraction leads to sexualization, which people seem to do that a lot. Well, if you say I'm pretty, that means you want to fuck me. Beauty is a sort of looking thing. It doesn't mean that we want to desire to do things with you, because some people distort that and they kind of put two together. Calling someone beautiful an initiative is just, you're attractive. And you leave it at that. Yes, people want to push that narrative really far. And they want to use every sexualization term and try to throw that stuff and try to not separate beauty from sex. I call women attractive all the time. When you call when you call anybody cute, it doesn't necessarily mean anything. But some people distort that. And they think that, well, if you're giving me attention, it means you like me. Liking someone is different from Liking a person is different from liking a look. A look of a person is on the outside. The inside of the person is the personality. It's what they believe in. That's how they walk. It's their guiding point. Who they talk to. How their probably their political alignment, their religious alignment. All that stuff actually matters. People distort the looks too much. Yeah, it's a first impression type shit. Yeah. The first impression is always like you always want to do all this stuff and that. You don't want to get into like, oh, hey, it's like, what's the worst thing that ever happened in your life? Discussions like that are always very like vague and like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna tell you up front. Yeah, so I mean, our eyes, since we got senses, when we actually look into the senses of the body through touch, smell, hear, taste, and see, we always want all the senses. It's like when you hear a beautiful girl's voice, your idea is to see that she's beautiful. And when you see someone that's beautiful, you want to touch them because they're beautiful. Who doesn't want to grab on a fat piece of ass? And then as you grab and touch that ass, you want to taste it. So you want to bite that ass. You want to suck on her titties and shit. Do all that stuff. There's a reason why all the senses kind of happen. They all start with the ears and the eyes. Most likely, the ears and eyes kind of go together. When you hear something, you always look. When you see something, you always want to listen. Because your eyes can identify through lips that someone's speaking. So you tone it down to see if you can hear those lips vocaling words. Our senses have always been the surrounding thing, and our eyes and ears are always the main senses that we have to use. So that's why when we do look at someone, we identify beauty first before anything else. That's why the old terminology, look from her head to her toes. Women distort that saying and saying you're just trying to sexualize me. It's like, no, these are the ideas that men want to identify a woman from the head to their toes. Or sometimes people go from their legs to their head. A lot of women don't look at that as just being praised for being pretty. They look at that as a sexualization. But of course, these are only the women that are very non-traditional. They look at men as predators, as enemies of themselves, because they say, well, you're the opposite of me. The opposite just means that it's not the opposite, it's the one half of reality of man and woman. That's why it's man and wound, man, woman. There's a reason why the Bible states that 5,000 years ago when Moses was writing all of Genesis down, yes, 5,000 years ago, he was writing all of Genesis down for when God was giving him the information. That's why the Old Testament, a lot of it's written down by Moses. So when people don't understand that that's been around since the beginning of fucking time, now it's like why people try to hide the Bible from people. Because Genesis, literally, it speaks extremely right up front in the first fucking page. It's like the 6th chapter of Genesis, not even that. It speaks it. I think it's in the first. I think it's the first 2 chapters. Why is it at the first? Because it's the identity of humans. That's how distorted these feminist women think. They think, men and women should be enemies. I said, no, men and women should be together. The devil wants to separate us with sexualization. But most men are not sexualized, but feminist men are. Feminist men are more sexualized because they're simps. Now, most simps don't get pussy because they act like women. You want to say, well, what about the men that do get all this pussy? You know why they get pussy? Because they act like men with no emotions. See, the idea of a traditional man is to know when to deal with emotions, know when to not deal with emotions. Some men literally don't care about women at all. That's why they fuck them all the time. Simp men care about women because they want to have sex with men. Well, women, sorry. They want to have sex with women. Probably men too, I guess, because they're fucking simps. They're feminist men. That's why that happens. You ever heard a simp man ever say like, oh, it's like, oh, you know, they worship this woman when they first see her because she's pretty. But a real man will be the one that gets that woman. And the simp man's always like, how are you getting her, man? You must be what? What do they say? You must be manipulating her and da-da-da-da. No, the woman's going to be like, no, because he's a fucking man and you're a bitch. Women use bitches. Women use women all the time. So going back to that really attractive looking girl that came in. So some guy was driving her friends around, I guess. It was snowing outside. She probably called him up and said, hey, come pick us up and that we're going to go to where I work at, Taco Bell and that. And how do I understand this? Because the person was sitting there and he was just like, oh, she's my sugar mama and she's paying for my food. And I instantly, said to the drive-thru person, kind of after he shut the window, I'm like, that's a simp-ass bitch. I'm like, how in the world are you sitting there saying that shit? Like, that woman ain't gonna give you anything. Why'd you say it like that? Because you're thinking that you're gonna get something from him. Dude, bitch is just using you. Women always use men. It's just how it is. But the idea behind masculinity, why women always want it, is because women drive towards strong-willed men because they know that they're fucking weak. They have to have that stability. When people say women are strong because they give birth or because they go through periods, yeah, men have to do births and periods daily. We have to constantly go through enormous amount of fucking pain, enormous amount of emotional pain, mental pain, physical pain, heart pain. We're constantly going through all these things, and it never fucking stops. It always happens. That's why you see some men literally go into suicidal rage because they don't understand that they have to be strong. Yeah, you don't... Toning down your emotions is probably the most painful thing any fucking person can do. We can't just full-on express ourselves 24/7. There's a lot of times that we have to just grind and just do what we need to do. It's not saying you can't express, it's saying more or less likely we'd probably choose not to in certain situations because we can't. Because then people are going to look at us as we're weak. But if you favoritism the woman in that, they want to sit there and be like, well, you favoritism mean that, but they don't like you. Like, say to the woman at work in that. I don't know how her man is. Her man's probably a simp. Because she's, an unaverage, attractive-looking woman. She has kind of like her distorted reality. She doesn't look like she gets enough love. So she doesn't look for love, she looks for lust. She kind of flips it. And I'm always like researching how she acts because I see it a lot in women that have like distorted realities, not because of their past or because of the things that happen to them. And it becomes very interesting to see, it's all about because of the man that you are with. If you have a strong-willed man, he's like taking bullets, taking all these insults and all stuff, and he pushes everything away. Like God tells us to wear, the shield of faith. You push back evil. That's the whole idea of the armor of God. You're pushing back evil. The chest plate keeps you righteous, keeps your heart concealed. That evil can't get near you. You always speak the truth because of the belt of truth. You always have wisdom because of the salvation helmet. These are the reasons why these things are kind of, acronyms of we should be strong. We shouldn't be sitting there and letting this weak, evil shit get in our way. We should push it back and strike it down. We're supposed to strike down wickedness. We're supposed to speak the fucking truth. We're supposed to swing, the sword of word, God's word around because it implicates power because it's the truth. You could distort the truth by saying, well, what about this, this, and this? But everyone takes it out of context because that's how they do it in the Bible. That's how they do it in real life. It's not just the Bible they take out of context. They take everything out of context because they are out of context themselves. That's why they distort their reality so much. So when I look at a person that I work with, why she always does this stuff, and I already know. Lack of love, bad guidance. That's why she has a bad attitude. That's why, you know, when she does do work really hard, when she does, she wants direct fucking praise. And she thinks, well, if I don't get direct praise, that means that, you know, whatever it might mean, I work hard. So, you know, so going back to my job and that. So before this lady left and that, the person I'm talking about, the one I work with, you know, I told her she did a good job in that. And I asked her, like, why don't you stay till 12? Because we close early. Just make an extra couple hours up. Or basically, not if you doing anything, you know. Just, you know, because you make a little bit more money than that. You're already here. And she's like, why? Like, because you're already here. And, you know, when I looked at her and I looked at her time, she only worked like 4 hours. You basically were here for 4 hours. You basically we weren't doing anything. It was very, very slow. And like, so you can't just get an extra 2 hours in. You can't everybody can just go in the lobby and just like help clean the lobby up together and that or something like that. And she refused it. I'm like, okay, well, that's like, we're going to have these times where hours are going to get cut a lot. And get whatever hours you can get, you might as well get them. 4-hour shifts go in a breeze. I can fart 4 hours out of my ass and go home and like, oh, 4 hours. That's basically what happened. I worked 8 to 12 something, and it was like nothing happened. It was really boring. I'm like, oh, there was nothing to do. And we got a little bit of business after like 11. And she said, well, I worked really hard already today. I'm like, yeah, you did work hard, but that's an initial thing that almost everybody does. I'm like, just because you worked hard at something that no one works hard at, like you scrubbing out the sink and that, I said, this is where people say work hard, don't work harder, work smarter. So you got steel sink, okay? It gets grime on the side, like oil and that, because, you know, oil sticks to it because it eventually gets cold. It gets a little, like, oil residue from, you know, just food and, you know, whatever else it might be with the soap and that. All you have to do is wipe it out with a towel. Get a little wet towel that you can wipe all the grime off and that. It sticks to those towels really good because they're the little fiber cloth towels and that. She's all sitting there like scrubbing the tub with a scratch pad. I said, why? It's dirty. No, it's not dirty. It's like, you can just wipe it off. So you're working 10 times harder. So if you're saying, oh, I worked really hard today, specifically stated, oh, I scrubbed the sinks. I said, well, I was saying to myself in that now, I'm like, so you're taking something and you're making it 10 times harder because you want to believe that doing that's going to make you work harder. It's going to make you think that other people are like, oh, you worked hard today because you scrubbed and it was unnecessary. It was absolutely fucking pointless to do it. Like, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, you could just wipe it off with a towel. You probably would have spent maybe like 3 minutes doing it. Maybe 4 minutes because of the big sink area. Like, so you just made your job 10 times harder for no reason at all. Work harder with easier objectives. That's basically what I'm getting at. So work really hard with simple shit and then say I worked really hard today. No, you just spent a lot of pointless time on a simple task. Doesn't mean you worked hard. You made it harder to make it seem that you're working hard, but you're not. It's just time consuming. It can be time consuming. That's how I get it. If you're working hard, it's like sitting there doing the main job and doing dishes. Doing the main job and doing other things. Keeping up with cleaning that or keeping up with certain things and that. But it's more than just one person working. This person wants to solo herself out. And I said, well, that's the reason why you're having problems. This is a team effort. You want to be the solo main character person. What I do implicates more than everybody else. Well, that's fucking pride. Now I understand what pride actually is. It's implicating something and thinking that it's worth more than everybody else does because it's coming from you. That's stupid and massively ignorant. If you ever had people like that, I can raise my hand and probably like 30 people that were like that. And I say most of them were women and very little of them were men. Oh, I do something. You're trying to do something that no one fucking cares about as much. Like, if it's something worthwhile, then I understand. And it makes you want to think about, it's like, how is someone that distorted in their life? To be that pride, had all that pride with themselves, and to sit there and say, well, I scrubbed something, and they give themselves so much gratification, they believe it's better than everything else. I always tell this person that, not to be ignorant. I said, well, you could do my job. And she won't, no, I can't do your job. Like, why not? Well, because my job's really fucking hard, that's the reason why. And I do it with a breeze. Like, so I can let a fart out, that's my whole day. Because I don't make it hard. I kind of dissolve myself to make it as easy as possible. And these are the distortions we seem to get every day in life. When we think about it a little bit, we're all like, oh, people are like that? Yeah. The Bible's not wrong. It's not wrong at all. It's specifically explaining in many different ways, this is how life actually is. When you see it, you're like, okay, well, they're right. Yeah, Jesus is right. It's right. It makes perfect sense. No, you're all good, man. But yeah, it's just, I'm reading your messages and that because it's hard for me to read the messages on my screen. I have to go on the YouTube app. Yeah. You know. Well, yeah, the whole dopamine thing, yeah. No, I understand what you're saying about that. Well, they want to praise themselves too much for little acts, and they get too much dopamine, and it blows them out of perspective. It blows them out of their own little like actual reality. It puts them in like a little bubble, and that's where they really distort themselves. They say, "Well, I'm done for today. I've done a lot of stuff." I'm like, "There's still shit to do. I can't believe there's more stuff to do. I've done so much." You clean one fucking area, bro. Well, yeah, that's the whole point. I've dealt with that so many times now, because I used to be like that. I used to be the whole I want to get praise and that, and I start to learn praise comes with hard work, period. If you ain't working hard, no one's going to praise you for being weak. No one praises anyone for being weak. Weakness is a non-negotiable thing in life. You have to survive. You have to work hard to survive. So you have to get a job. You have to work. You have to do shit in that. Weakness makes you afraid of everything. Weakness makes you want to think that everything should be done for you. For what? Jesus says specifically, people without work shouldn't get fed. Lazy people are the worst people to be surrounded by. He says, cast them out. If people are lazy and you're trying to motivate them to do stuff and they're just inside their head all day, that's because they just don't know, or more or less likely, it's just that. They just don't know. Slothness, pride, they all interval together. If you're a prideful person, that doesn't matter what anybody tells you, you always want to assume that you're right. Because you're self-praising. You worship yourself. It's just like you ever notice that people have idols. Like, God forbid. Please help us, Jesus. These people are terrible people. People have idols like Taylor Swift, and they devote themselves to what Taylor Swift does. The way she farts, the way she shits, the way she does everything. And these young women devote themselves to it. It's like, well, she's so skinny and pretty, and I'm fat and ugly. You know why she's skinny and pretty and that? Because, no offense, she's a satanic dumb fuck. She works hard. She worries about her eating. She does all that stuff. That's why her body looks like that. You're just fat because you're fucking lazy. Because you're not devoting yourself to someone that actually cares about you. You're devoting yourself to someone that doesn't even fucking know you. That's why Jesus says, I've known you since you were what? Not existing. I knew from the beginning who you were when you were in the womb. I knew exactly everything from the beginning of your life in the womb. When the sperm hit the fucking egg. Jesus knew you. God knew you from the start. So if God already knows you, most likely He's going to be the one that wants to transform you into the person that you actually want to be. That's why the guiding stone has to be coming from the Almighty, not from these fucking celebrities. These celebrities don't give a fuck about any of us. They like us because we give them money and we give them attention because they're sad, most likely, kind of rather pathetic people. They want to say, oh, I'm good and righteous because I give to charity. Charity is just a tax write-off, assholes. That's what all it means. It doesn't mean anything. And a lot of times it's not even them directly giving it to. It's like the company that works with them that does it. It's all about publicity. It's all about making people look good. I don't believe in any of that shit. And people, say about Elon Musk, and fucking Elon Musk. Elon Musk, he's doing good things and that to a certain extent, but you know what? He's part of the prophets. As he's going down what the prophets have already said. Jesus Christ already explained what's going to happen, and he's going down that road. It's just how it is. We want to delusionalize ourselves to think that we live in a world that's not blessed by God. That's why we do all the stupid shit that we do. Because we don't want to know. Because people that don't know God don't know the truth. You have to know Jesus. You have to know the truth. Distorted realities are everywhere. And the only one that can heal you is Christ because He already knows. He knows you from the beginning to the end. He knows everything that's going through. That's why when people say, I'm more tormented than you are. We're all tormented because this world's cursed with sin. And some people believe in worldly things over heavenly things. Heavenly things, it's barely anything. It's just living. Being happy with the things that you have. People believe in worldly things. They always want so much materialistic shit. I'm happy with the life that I have. I don't want my own place. My parents always talked about that, because I live with my parents now. They're always like, well, wouldn't you own a place eventually? And I said, maybe. I mean, it would be nice. But the thing of it is, I don't. I don't want the worldly things. The only reason why people move out is because they get married. God actually tells us that. He says, and I believe it's in Genesis, you move out of your parents' house to honor thy wife. And the wife, basically gets escorted into the marriage of a man because the father of that daughter is supposed to find the perfect man for that woman. That's why they have that sort of thing back then. Because women themselves can't decide on men because look what's happening now. I know so many attractive looking women that have single moms. They live with the single mother. And the single mother's a flat out fucking whore. They sleep with everything they can. They give it every dude they can for money, for this, for that. I say, you could have had all that if you married a good man. Or if you were taught to be a good woman. But you decide to go down the worldly way, which is satanic. And Satan doesn't want you to be with the man. They hate men because men are bad. Men are molesters. Men are this and men are... I know teachers that molest fucking 16-year-old fucking boys all the time. They're all over on the news. These desperate ass bitches and that. They got those big huge booties and titties and that. And they sexualize all the young boys and that. And they fucking do it to all the semi-young teenagers and that. In high school and shit. And it's fucking disgusting. They say, well, men do it too. Yeah, to a certain extent, but them men are bad. It doesn't mean that all men are like that. That's what the category of separation is. No one wants to separate. Say, for what you do, you reap. Jesus said specifically, what you reap is what you sow. These parables that Christ says is telling us the truth. When you do stupid shit happens to you. If you're a bully, someone else will bully you. If you're, ugly towards other people, you're going to have someone that's going to be ugly towards you. This is how emotions always fucking work. What you put out into the world is what you get. If you put out love and goodness, you're going to find people that are going to love and like you. Doesn't mean that people out there are not going to hate you. Of course they will. But you're going to find that because they see something in you that they see in themselves, so that's why they join you. When they always say, people that like to suffer, they like to suffer in groups. They like to suffer together. Same thing with loving people. People that are loving and caring want to be with people that are loving and caring. But the people that are loving and caring always want to help out the suffering, because that's the initial thing that God wants us to do, is to help people out, for them to see the light so they can become one with God in a relationship with Christ, so they can actually know their purpose, actually know why they exist. Because people that step away from God, all the same things. They're more or less likely to be drug addicts, drinkers, beaters, molesters, pedophiles. All these things come up when they pull themselves away because they're losing the guiding point of righteousness. And they can't understand why they hate righteous people so much. Righteous people have the hardest life. Why? Because we have to fight against the fucking bullshit that these cocksuckers are doing. We have to fight against all that wickedness. So we have to stand like fucking towers with our shields and swords, fight against these radical satanic people. It's like seeing all these people that are protesting ICE and shit. These people are fucking retarded. Of course, not all of them. Some just go in because they need what? They need a purpose. Ain't no different join a gang or join a fucking cult. They want a purpose. So they join a purpose. Doesn't mean that's the purpose that they actually want to do. That's just a purpose that it's easy to do because everyone else is going on it, because that's where all the hatred's at. People always hate righteous people. Is that because they have money? A lot of us do, because we're not stupid. We live in the means of what God tells us to live in for the most part. People are like that. I see them all the time. What do? They spend all their money on drugs. I say, how you spend your money is how your life is, right? If you spend your money cautiously and you get just the stuff that you need, like I buy supplements and that because I like supplements. So I got a detox supplement that I'm taking. Because I like to detox myself, especially when it comes down to winter season and that, because I know I'm going to get more sick. So I got prepared. I bought a detox. I'm always moving around. I'm always, I'll drink, really hot coffee in that. I was having some ginger beer in that. Try to do stuff that keeps me going that. Because I got to tell people working that. I said, if the best people at your job literally got sick and you guys had to be the one to come in and do it, you guys would fucking freak the fuck out. I said, everybody's getting fucking sick. And I said, I can't afford to get fucking sick. So who's stronger? A person that can't afford it, as in they have to be there. I have to be at work or the line falls apart. Unless it's a really slow day. But they know that they want me to be there because they know if they don't keep my money going and keep my hours high, then I'm going to end up fucking going to another job, and they can't afford to lose someone that's a strong worker. And that's why I try to explain to these people, like, you guys get sick of it because you guys drink alcohol, you guys are fucking stupid, hurts and that. Detox. Drink lemon juice. Literally. Cut up a whole damn lemon and eat the fucking lemon. You will literally heal. Not even joking you. Get some ginger. Buy some, like, heavy ginger, like, stuff in that. Drink a thing of ginger. I promise you will fucking feel better. That's gonna taste like shit, but that shit will perk you up or revitalize your cells. It does all kinds of things. There's a reason why people stayed working 50, 60 hours a week. Because they were well nourished. Nowadays, we eat shit all damn day long. You know, I got creatine chewables that I chew. You know, that I eat and that. So again, the creatine powder, I got the chewables now. So I take like 6 of them a day, which is add up to like 10 grams. I think it's 10 grams of creatine. And then you look at what creatine does, it actually helps you function a lot better. Your brain functions better, you heal a little bit better. Only thing is your fluids have to be higher. You'll get dehydrated slightly bit, but there's always a side effect to everything. But these are the way we have to live life. So we figure out how to live it. It's always the little things. So as I try to explain to people, now it's like I'm not doing this for fucking praise. I do this because I have to. Because I'm devoting myself. I have what? I have purpose. I have purpose to be at the job. I bring in more purpose. People praise me and I kind of deny it sometimes because I don't like it. I don't like being praised because praise means I'm doing thing. No, it's the will of God that's doing it. I'm just the purpose of it. See how it works? Will of God is saying I need to work hard, so I work hard. That's my purpose. So I do what I believe that is right for me to do through God. People don't want to think that's like that. Actually, it is. Let me give you an example. Anyone ever had a feeling that you had to do something but you never did it? I think everybody had that feeling. Like something. Like you said, well, like you see a homeless person, you're like, maybe I should give him a couple dollars and that. You know what that feeling is? That's literally God. The people don't understand what God is everything. Everywhere. People think that angels are just selectively here and there. No, angels are everywhere. Like, hundreds of thousands of angels are everywhere all the time, surrounding us. You know, constantly with us. And when Lord Jesus Christ gives them a task, they perform the task with perfect purity. Humans can't grasp that. Well, it's because you don't know, because you haven't learned for eternity. They live for eternity, and they're already grasping what God wants them to do anyway. Because God etched, when He created heaven, He created all the angels all at once. And He etched all of them to have the knowledge of who God is fully. We don't know that. We don't know who God is fully. We don't know anything. We know when we read the Bible and that. But imagine if you actually knew God. You knew the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. You knew how they worked. You knew how they reacted to us. You knew all that stuff and that. Just imagine. You would be so righteous that it would be ridiculously, unique. Like, you would see people walk around. You ever see a person that's like that in your life? Besides Moses? Maybe Noah? Like, the most righteous people to ever fucking exist? I mean, of course, you could say Adam and Eve, because they were the first humans, to a certain extent, for what we know from the book. But even they lived for, how long did they live before they fell? How many humans were made before they fell? Because when God said Adam and Eve be fruitful, they were in eternity before they fell. They could have had thousands of children. That's what Moses doesn't say, because they're not important. What's important is the fall itself. There could be thousands of children. Because eternity with no time, there'd be no existence of how much they had. They could have lived in eternity from our time for hundreds of thousands of years. And they could have produced countries and made a whole bunch of things in that. That's what it is. But of course they go into the direction of only talking about they only had 2 kids. But they didn't start having kids until they fell. Supposedly. Then he told them to be fruitful. See, when we look at God, we always want to look at God as being like, oh, he's either really nice or he's war tyrant. No, he's both. God is discipline and justice, period. It doesn't matter what you do. That's where a lot of humans get it wrong. They're like, well, I think I'm a good person. None of us are good. And when you get that into your head, you're all fucking sinners, which means condemned to death, period. That's exactly what it means. This ain't no Muslim traditional shit, because the Quran's fucking completely backwards. The Quran says that they should worship the Gospels of Jesus Christ and the Torah. So they're flippy floppy. That's what I don't like about that whole Quran thing. They're flippy floppy. The half the shit they say I don't even fucking give a fuck about, because it's not the true word. It's bullshit. It's like, oh yeah, worship what everybody else is doing. That's right. Yeah, of course, because it's right, dumbass. That's why you don't need a fucking Quran to tell us that. That's already right. We already know the Bible's right. That's why it's been passed down. The knowledge has been passed down for 5,000-6,000 fucking years. Come on, guys. It's like literally look at it from that perspective. But it all goes back down to what I first initially was talking about. Why do people have jealousy? Why do we take revenge? Why do we do stuff like that? Because our guiding point is never God. Our guiding point is mortals. When us mortals worship thyself or other mortals, they never have good ideas. That's why they're always on TV. They try to explain how great they are. I'm such a great person. Dwayne Johnson said he was natural for 50 years. The dude's been taking gear since he was fucking 20. Dude's been jacked his whole entire life, constantly on steroids, and we know that now. So did he cheat his whole entire life? Yeah, he probably started taking steroids when he was a fucking teenager. 16, 17. That's the whole point. They all cheat their whole entire lives, and they all want to make their lives look more better than ours because they want to think, oh, I'm natural. Oh, these motherfuckers are natural. No one in the fitness industry is 100% natural because it doesn't make sense to be. Like, I'm going to start going through experimenting with peptides and that. I'm already going down. I already got some shit coming in. Hopefully probably today or maybe tomorrow because of the weather and that. I'm trying out this peptide called BPC 157. It's supposed to be basically a miniature recovery peptide. I guess you could say it's kind of like a semi-steroid kind of usage, but it's amino acid. It's a small string amino acid that helps cell recovery, helps muscle tissue recovery, it helps inflammatory recovery. Because with me and that, you know, I have eczema, I'm inflamed, my skin's inflamed and shit. And so I've been trying to figure out what I can do that's more natural instead of just popping fucking medicines. I heard a lot of things about gut health and that, so that's why I got the detox and that. And the biggest thing that helped is fasting. Just not eating. Just sitting there and fasting for, you know... I mean, today is Sunday, that. That's okay, I can fast after this meal now. I need to take a big old dump here in a little bit. But I'm trying out all these little things to try to... Oh, man, got the farts. Woohoo! Because it's always fun trying new things, try to figure out certain things. But fasting is a huge thing, mentally and, you know, spiritually and physically. It seems to help out a lot. Now, of course, it's always an off day. You don't want to work super hard because you're just sitting there just, like, slowly having your energy being drawn out. Because then you gain energy back from your fat and from, you know, certain things and that your body's trying to get rid of. That's why eating too much food is always bad. When you eat so much food, other than that, it makes you lazy because you're just tired. Well, bodybuilders are all on steroids, guys. For males out there to understand how steroids work, steroids make you recover faster. Everything is faster. So your energy gains faster. Everything's faster, period. That's what steroids are used for. Just like, like with peptides and that. I'm learning all that stuff and that. They talk about peptides for a long-ass time, for the last, 10, 15 years. We were saying, well, it's not FDA approved. FDA approved the fucking vaccine that literally has killed people. So I don't believe in the fucking FDA approving shit. At least back then compared to now. Because the government we used to have back then were all fucking retards. They FDA approved shit just to gain money off of us. The people that are in there now, our health official, Kennedy Jr., he's really stuffed it up with the whole health thing. Now he's trying to explain to people that you could be healthy and that without doing all that shit. That's why he's demanding the food dyes need to go away, because there's been so much research on the food dyes giving people, hyper unfocused minds and that. Yeah, because your nutrition matters. Stop eating fucking cereal. Cereal's fucking terrible for you. People say Cheerios aren't bad. Cheerios aren't bad. Just eat a normal breakfast. Just have eggs and fucking bacon and that. Or it has to have fucking eggs. Eggs are the most nutritious thing. That's why they always attack egg owners. Because eggs are the most nutritious thing you can fucking have. Or eat a big ass steak or something. Keep up with the vegetables and that or whatever. These are the ideas we have to keep on pushing, because we'll say back in the old days, people used to push this shit all the time. I used to, my family, they're all very strong-willed people. My grandfather, he was in the Korean War and all that shit, and that very strong, patriotic person. Worked long hours, busted his ass for, 50 or so years. And he devoted himself to the family that he created today. I'm the resemblance of that family. So is my dad, The same thing with my mom's side. Now, her dad was very strong-willed. It worked really hard, and that kept me very simple. But he lived simple for a reason. He didn't believe in the whole money thing too much, and that he kind of just let things happen. And that's what it is. As long as you have good guiding points, it doesn't matter how intelligent you are. You don't have to be the smartest person in the world. Good guiding points just means that you live a righteous life. You can still be a fucking idiot. There's this one guy I met. I see him walk around all the time, and that he lives by himself. He gets, he has SSI because he was talking to me about his disability now, but he works part-time at Home Depot and that. And he says, I always take the bus there. He puts on his headphones and that. He has his phone. He charges it up every day. He always makes sure everything's charged up. He's a complete fucking dork. So he lives in a really dorky environment. And he tells me that. He works at a place that literally, it's surprisingly really far away. He has to take buses there and that. And it's 15, let's say it's about 15 minutes to drive away from where he lives at. He always takes the bus. He takes the bus back. He takes the bus forward. Doesn't matter what conditions that it is. He'll walk through. He walked through when it was cold outside and that, and he put on his stuff and that. He made sure everything was good. He was well guided, well prepared. But he had a disability now. He had a very, heavy speech impediment type stuff. He was very stuttering in that. And he was talking to me. He was really happy about talking about dorky shit and that. And I listened to them. And, I just like to, think about who I used to be when I was a kid. This person was an adult, totally free of the reality that the world's in. He doesn't care about it. He lives his life based upon what his purpose is. He works. He gets support, but he works. He has his fun. And then, he enjoys it. Now, is that God's purpose in that person? Absolutely. The person was chilled and happy. Like, he was excited that I was talking to him and that, because he walks like I do. We walk around together and that. I see him every now and again. He always got his big old earphones in and that. He's always listening to stuff and that. And when I talked to him, he talked to me for like, 10 or 15 minutes. And he just kept on talking and kept on talking and kept on talking. And it took a while to speak because he was just like, his voice was so hyperactive that he would get lost in his words. So he would repeat himself probably like 3 or 4 times before he ever get out the full sentence. Like, I'll start a sentence and he'll kind of repeat in the middle of the sentence because his brain was trying to connect to it. And then finally he would speak the full sentence. So we're talking about, we're talking about video games, we're about Sonic, he brought up Destiny, he brought up all these games and that. And I could see, like, people behind them were like these 2 fat chicks. It's always the fat chicks that normally are always the fucking most disappointing ones. They ain't say nothing that, but I could just tell they kept on looking over and that. I'm like, oh, let them fucking talk, And this is where pride kicks in. This is what I don't like about pride. When someone establishes, I hear this shit a lot. It's like, you can't speak certain things because of other people's feelings. I say, God gave me a mouth to speak, for that you can't tell me not to speak because you aren't him. No one can tell me to do nothing. If I speak my mind for something that's happening, despite it hurts someone's feelings, those feelings have nothing to do with me. Despite the fact that you're being ignorant, so I have to speak against it. God gives you the full power to speak against wickedness. So I saw those fat bitches and I looked at them and that, and they didn't say nothing that, probably to themselves and that. But you can just tell that they had that means of like, people that don't know how to talk shouldn't talk. I said people that are fat shouldn't fucking eat. That's basically what I wanted to say. I say your wickedness is way more than his speech impediment. He's not doing nothing wrong. You're just fat and annoyed because you hate yourself. And obviously I didn't say that, but that's kind of what was going through my mind. See, that's why wickedness is, understanding it is so good, because you start pinpointing people out that you should stay away from or that you should fight against. And it's not to say you should annihilate your enemies, no. God justifies everything, but doesn't mean that you can't speak the truth that you feel in your heart towards people that are negative like that. Now, if it doesn't concern you and you don't, like, it doesn't, like, come your way, don't provoke it. Only establish it when it comes towards you. Don't be searching for it, because some people like to search for that shit and it's not healthy. Just like with the game I'm playing. Literally all they talk about is wicked people. How can they be like this? How can they be like that? And they talk about, oh, this person I'm going against is named Alice. Oh, she was tormented. She was this. She was that. And I'm thinking to myself that a tormented person is just someone that needs to get stronger. That's it. If you choose not to get stronger, then you're going to stay tormented your whole entire life. It doesn't matter what you do. There's people that are filthy fucking rich and they're still fucking tormented. And they're still psychologically fucked up until the day they die. And you could say, well, why is that? I say, because they forget to forgive themselves over that torment. Because we're not supposed to be that hateful towards people. Not to be hateful at all. That's God's way of doing it. When God says, pray for thy enemies, He doesn't tell us to pray for His enemies. He pray for your enemies, because God's enemies are the worst of the worst. Murderers, pedos, all these people that psychologically fucking really fucked up people. Your enemies can be something really small. Where is that? I gotta go through my favorite chapters. I love chapter 10 of Proverbs, a fucking amazing chapter. The wise and the foolish contest. And every time you read, the first thing they always talk about, wise son maketh a glad father, but a foolish son is the heaviness of his mother. Just that verse alone, what do we think that actually means? So a wise son makes a glad father. When the father's glad, the mother's going to be glad too, because that's how it normally goes down. It's always talking about the son. And of course, daughter is kind of the same thing. But when you get that into the verse, but a foolish son is the heaviness of his mother. So think about that. When you are a piece of shit fucking son, your mother's always stressing out more because it's always something that's hard for them to deal with. I always think about single mothers. Single mothers raise very heavily, emotionally sons. And it's not to say they're always like this, because you always get ones that had fathers, but they died or something like that. Okay, we're talking about a very small percentage of fucking people in the world. We're talking about the ones that I fucking keep seeing that. So when I worked at Zipset, there was 2 girls I worked with. They both had single moms. And they said, why did you divorce? They said, well, he was very controlling. Yeah, men are supposed to be controlling because women do stupid shit. You're supposed to be traditional. You're supposed to be, taking care of the house and that. But she was, the primary holder. She was the one that was working, making most of the money, I guess. I said, okay. And the guy was working too. Because most men work. They have to work. Because when they feel they don't work, they feel like they don't have purpose. Because take care of the house, and that's not a man's fucking job. But, she worked in that, she made good money, and da-da-da-da. That's why she's separated from her man. And now she's trying to go out, trying to find other dudes. And she's like in her fucking late 30s, early 40s. And her daughter is, we were having a conversation about that. So when do you actually start feeling love with a man? Like we ever have a conversation, we're having a psychological conversation about, feelings. And she was telling me that she's like, I only feel love is when a guy has sex with me. That's when I feel like that the man loves me. I said, that's not what love is all about. Sexualization is not love. It's lust. That's not love you're feeling. That's lusting for that validation. Love is a partnership that doesn't go away. That's why we have these women that are doing this stuff and that. They're like, I'm dating and trying to find love in that. Love's never found because love finds you. I do with myself to understand the concept of why love doesn't find, or why people are always trying to find love, and when they don't accept it, they're like, oh my god, I can't accept it. You never accept it in the first place. Because you first have to love yourself. Which means having God with you, and God's love is what decides the person for you. It's what you follow. And so we start talking about that in this, and she really was like kind of listening to me in that. And I said, you're a smart person that you have faith in your heart. You're just misguided because this world doesn't hit the guiding points of what God wants us to do. It normally just says, do whatever you want to do. But the thing of it is, what to do is what? Do whatever you want to do. If you don't know what to do, then you can't do anything at all. That doesn't make sense. Well, do what your desires want you to do. Still, if you have no guiding points to get the desires done, then you can't do nothing. It doesn't make sense at all. You're like, logically speaking, stupidness. And it's not even logical, it's just pure fucking dumbness. That's why there's guiding points all through the Bible, especially in Proverbs. Proverbs has huge guiding points. Of course, certain verses are more powerful than others now, but all these verses always go towards the same thing. To pull you away from being a fucking moron, to being more intelligent, to being more braver, to have basic experiences in life that that men specifically and women specifically have been having for the last several thousands of years. There's nothing new. People say, well, there's something new. Wickedness has always been around. All the shit that's happened today is just they just don't have internet. They had that shit back then. You take away a little bit of our technology now, you'd be exactly where it was 2,000-3,000 years ago. You take away electricity, we would literally be back to where we were 3,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago. So, there's not much in society that hasn't changed. We just devote it to make things slightly more effective. TVs back then weighed 500 tons. You know, they would blow up and shit if you didn't do that. You had plasma TVs. They remember plasma TVs. You had to fill up the plasma. You had to have someone come in there and fill up the plasma or the TV would fucking go out. A fucking liquid and shit that I fill the thing up with so it actually fucking work because it used it. Now TVs are all circuit boards and there's gold all over the place with them and that. And shit's cheap as fuck because we have supposedly unlimited resources. But people say, oh, they're not unlimited. Yeah, we have unlimited resources. God didn't make the world fucking worthless. He made it worth everything to us. That's why we have unlimited oil, unlimited gold, unlimited diamonds, unlimited everything. People say we don't. You're fucking full of shit. Why do... The oil riggers specifically stated that it's every 5 years they refill up. And they say sometimes there's more oil in there than there is. That's why they keep the oil rigs where they're at, because they tap into an oil reserve. It's not a reserve. It's a constant flow. They let it fill back up and they suck it all up and it fills back up. But see, you're not going to know this stuff because the oil riggers talk about it. But the world doesn't know because they're not on the oil rig. And when people actually start talking about that, you start realizing that someone's lying to you. God didn't make this world for us to not be able to stay here for eternity. He made this world for us to stay into eternity. That's the whole point of when heaven brings, that's why he said, you know, the new heaven will be the earth. That there wouldn't be any difference. Earth and heaven will be the same. And that's just how it is now. Do we know the whole plan? No, no one knows the plan. Nothing's ever explained in detail about what's the plan. All I said, there's going to be a new heaven, a new earth. It says it in Revelations. Is it a constant cycle? I have no idea. I mean, if God made one earth and then made, you know, the heavens and made the earth, is this just the first cycle of heaven and earth? Is there more cycles after that? Some people believe in the fucking Gnostic text that said, oh, he made many worlds now, but they got corrupted and they destroyed themselves and blah, blah, blah. And that, you know, I said, well, the Gnostic test is basically saying that God's not perfect, that God makes mistakes. I said, that doesn't make any sense because if God makes mistakes, you can't call him God. I love these fucking morons, the Gnostic Christians, that they're fucking just full of retards. You make no logical sense. When God says I am, which means I am infinite. That's what I am means. It means I've always existed. I'm always here. So how something or say the Almighty is so powerful that existence can be zapped out in a blink of an eye. Just one word. One word, heaven and earth would just disappear. And you want to say God, the Almighty, that powerful, is going to be that imperfect? No, that makes no sense. Because imperfectness doesn't exist with the ideas of how God is. And God kind of like shows a little bit when Jesus talks about the Father. He talks about, you know, certain things with that, with the Trinity, that he is a perfectionist. He's absolute perfect. Because that's what a creator is, perfection. What do you think how people are in this world? If you gave humans eternity with no sin, how much progress would this world have in technology? We would have so much progress in like the first 50 years that our world from 100 years ago would look like dust. Why? Because just like how God is perfect, perfectionate, humans have that same reality too. Be perfectionate. That's the idea of image of God in our image. Perfection is one of the things that people like to do. We like to perfect things. Because that's our purpose. We want to have that purpose to do whatever it is. We perfect it. There's the reason why we do the things we do. And we don't stop. We keep doing it. So you ever read a book and that you get really excited about it, you want to finish it? Or a video game or anything in this world. You want to finish it? Yeah, because that's what you want. You want to be a perfectionist. You want to finish something in full because you enjoy it. If you enjoy something, you always want to finish it. If you don't enjoy it, then you never want to finish it. There's like stuff that we don't like to do. We get prone to doing it, and then we end up making something about it that we like. Like working. I love working. I love getting out of the house. I wake up early enough in that I get 4 hours of video game playing in, or I'll stream in that, you know. And that's what happens. And then life is just like, oh, well, life's not that bad then. It's like, no. Life's pretty fucking good. Oh man, it's getting hot in here. Fuck, it's getting hot in here. That food must be kicking in because my temperature's rising quite a bit. I'm getting all excited. It's probably the creatine mixing with all the stuff in that. Creatine's so good. I love creatine. Yeah. Stuff we might hate when we first do it doesn't mean we're not going to like it, because you just develop a way of liking it. Like, no one likes to work. They want to be home and play video games all day and be like that. I used to be like that, but then when I start to realize that working's just part of life, you might as well enjoy it. I enjoy working hard. I enjoy the competition of moving fast, enjoying competition of being a better worker. It's not because I get paid better. Yeah, I talk about getting a raise all the time, and I obviously tell my GM, I tell her all the damn time, like, I want a raise. It's like, I really want to raise that. I develop myself a lot in this place and that, and what I see, a lot of people that we hire are fucking terrible workers. Like, they're like average at best. None of them are very good at keeping up with stuff for long periods of time. They normally shut down pretty quick. When stuff gets hard, they don't like turn their brain off and just fucking work through it. They don't emotionalize it all. They complain, oh my god, really? I say, if you work with the same pace that you did at the beginning and you try to work through it, it is hard. Like when I'm fasting at work and that, say if I get to work at 6, I did it last Sunday, I got to work at 6 o'clock. I fasted all the way till like fucking, I woke up at like 3 something, and I didn't eat till like 11. I almost at the end of my shift, you know. And I did truck and that, because normally I'm the truck guy. I'm always doing the heavy lifting, so I'm always fucking exhausted to begin with. But to know when you're actually exhausted, and to know when you actually need to actually be able to heal and eat in that, is different. I see people just eat because they're bored. And I'm just like, you eat because your flesh demands food. But food doesn't need to be implicated that much, because you need very little food to survive. That's the hint. Nowadays, people gorge on so much fucking food. Like, just get like a combo at any fast food restaurant or any place you go. It's always like 700-800 calories, if not more. It's so many fucking calories. But you don't even need all that to function. That's the idea why, you know, when someone works out really hard, they work really hard, that they always want to eat a lot because their body demands recovery. Or when someone's just eating because they're bored, because they're inactive, food is meant to work with. Food's not meant to just do it because it tastes good. Of course, you make things taste good because it's easier to digest in your mouth, because you have to be able to be like, oh, if it tastes like shit, you don't want to eat it. This all correlates with how God wants us to be. Should we eat in the morning time when we wake up? No, I think you should stay up for about 3 or 4 hours, let your body fully wake up. Now, coffee. This is what a lot of skinny people do, a lot of fit people do. They drink coffee in the morning, have 1 cup of coffee. They could put some, olive oil in there, maybe if they want to in there. Maybe put something in there that they want to, like, it is food, but it's very easily digestible food because it's olive oil. It's already pretty much, it takes a while to digest, but you know what I mean. It's not solid fat. It's more of the oil base. But just a cup of coffee and that, it wakes you up. It vitalizes you to get your brain awake. It helps your heart rate get higher. And when your heart rate actually starts to get to the fixed point of like 80 or it's like 80 something and then to close to 100 beats per minute, then your stomach starts to wake up. And when your stomach wakes up, so when you eat food when you first wake up, your stomach's never awake. Why? Because you just fucking woke up. Your body has to wake up. Your heart rate drops down to a certain amount so you can be able to sleep. Because that's how you heal. Your brain signals when your heart rate drops means rest. That means you get more drowsy. You get more what? You get more melatonin. You start to get into that cycle of wanting to heal. So you have to wake up and get the heart rate up for your stomach to turn on. That's like the engine part. Your stomach turns on. That's why it growls. That's why the growling is something you fight against when you know that you ate too much. Dude, so I starve myself. You're not really starving yourself. Because you ate 2,000 calories. Your body digests. It's probably going to digest the bulk of those 2,000 calories. If it doesn't need it, it might store it as fat for the most part, but normally doesn't store it really as much, because if your body's constantly being used, your body's going to constantly use that energy. But your stomach's just empty. That's why it growls. That's how it is. So when you fight against the growliness of your stomach, eventually it might growl like a few times, and that eventually subsides. The brain turns it off, saying, okay, you're not going to eat. Okay. And then what does it? It goes to fasting. And what happens is your stomach gets small. Because you're telling your body there's no need for food because you're forcing it to get smaller. So you see fat people's stomachs, they're fucking gigantic as fuck. Like they're big ass stomachs and they hold so much food. And it's not to say having a big stomach is bad, sometimes, it goes up and down, but like, you only need so much food. And if you do lift a lot of weights and shit, your calories don't go up by that much. Some people say, I see bodybuilders. We always gotta talk about bodybuilders. Yes, bodybuilders can eat 4,000 or 5,000 calories a day because they're on steroids, guys. And they're fucking 300-pound fucking men. Yes, the more weight you are and muscle, the more you have to eat to be able to survive. Even with fat people, the fatter someone is, they have to eat a certain amount of calories because their body's pushing all that energy out because they are fat. So you see little skinny people that they say, I eat a lot of food. No, you don't. Well, I could put away, like 2,000 calories. 2,000 calories is the average fucking thing. Like, it's not a lot of food. And if you put away 3,000 calories, it's not a lot of food. People say that's not really, because you can eat a bunch of shit and gain 3,000 calories. You could drink a whole thing of fucking Dr. Pepper and get like 2,000 calories from that. And honestly, you probably wouldn't even notice that you even got it because it's liquid. It'll just dissolve and you'd be done with it. It's funny how the body actually works. That's why it's always good to know what's going on, why things happen. That's what I like about the Bible. The Bible kind of like explains the pros and cons of certain things. One of the things God said in Matthew, that he said, Jesus said, the way to heal your body is to fast and pray. And people have to understand why. Because the weakness of the flesh is what implicates your spirit. And when people do any type of research on fasting, they said it actually helps you get rid of bad cells. It actually helps you reset your body to the natural point inflammation goes down, everything goes down. People want to think, well, you lose muscle mass because of that. No, you really don't. Like, I fast, I don't fast a lot, but there's some days I would fast for like 10 hours and like my muscle mass doesn't decrease. Your muscle mass decreases when you fucking do stuff for a certain amount of time. And they have all this research out there and there's this one guy that I talked to from the gym. He's an older guy and he's been lifting weights for a while now, for like 40 years. He even told me that, like, I go outside, I ground myself. I go outside, I walk in the dirt and that. I say I do for maybe 10, 15 minutes. Or I'll sit there, I'll, like just walk around that, or I'll sit on something, have my feet touch the dirt and that. Ground. And what does grounding do? It absorbs the toxins from your body and that. Because you have water and you have electricity running through your nerves. That's why you move. So water and electricity and everything match. You have metals in you and that. So you're a positive person. The ground is negative. That's why people that wear rubber shoes all the time, which we all do, it neglects us from hitting the ground, so we don't actually draw. Like this, like the ground's trying to be. It repels negativity because rubber's negative. So it repels it. It doesn't have it draw through. It kind of reflects it. That's why people that walk around with shoes all the time, they always have aches and pains throughout their whole entire body. And yeah, because you can't ground yourself. Like, you walk with socks, like cloth and that, because cloth is not anything super negative. It's still, because it's made out of cotton, which cotton is, has a little bit of a positive charge to it, to a certain extent, because it's alive. Rubber's not alive. Cotton, is alive. Has a positive charge to it, so it kind of helps you out. When you work on, stuff and that. It's very interesting to learn about all this stuff. And, like, he told me that, he's like, because he talked about my skin disorder now, he's like, you need to ground yourself, and you need to start doing olive oil. Like, take a teaspoon of olive oil every day. It'll help you out with your skin and stuff and that. It'll get rid of the inflammation and that, because fats are the biggest thing. More fat you eat, that's why if you eat a lot of meat, eat fat and that, their inflammation goes down. Well, that's the reason why. And he's trying to give me all these tips and that. I'm just like, okay, take a fish oil every day, take 2 of them that, try to, go through these things and that. You won't think it's a lot of work. It's just a natural response to things. Did I start doing that stuff with that? I did. I started seeing a little bit of results in that, but the biggest result was fasting. When I fasted in that, and I did it last Sunday and that, I started to notice a difference in my skin tone. Trust me, having eczema or whatever the fuck that it is, it's a terrible fucking disorder. I mean, it's terrible. Like, taking off my shirt and that, I can't even do it because I'm, kind of like, it's terrible. Like, it's fucking all over the place. It's kind of the reason why I don't want to get a girlfriend, because I don't want anyone to, to see me like this, because it's just that bad. That's how it was with my ex, and that's how why she probably wanted to push away from me, because she saw that shit. It was just like, she saw my back, and that was all over my back and shit. And like, someone that doesn't have something is never gonna understand what it is to have it. And not to say that she wasn't trying to be loving and caring and that, but like, she would always sit there and get upset with me for like, don't scratch and that. She had like anti-itch spray that she would like spray on my back and shit. And I said, honey, it's just how it is. I need the anti-itching spray only works for little bits of stuff, and I need to have lotion. And like, if you sit there, grab like a little rag and that and put lotion on it, like wipe it on my back, that would help a lot more than spraying that stuff on there. But unfortunately, that women that are at my age group in their 30s and that, they don't want to do all that fucking work. So, not saying that she wouldn't, but it is what it is. And so I devote myself to understanding this situation that I'm in. And I would have to say, I would never want anyone to go through this. Take care of yourself. Be healthy, Dad. Take care of yourself, 100%. You know, do whatever it takes to make your life is, you know, so you don't have to deal with so much stuff in that. Eat the right foods in that. Take your fish oils every day. Eat your good fats in that. You know, I just had a bunch of avocado in that. Avocado's like the best fat you can fucking eat. You know, like olive oil is cheap. It's fucking everywhere. Keep yourself nutrition, because you don't want to go down the line of being like everybody else that has issues, like me. No, you don't want to have it. You probably couldn't handle it. It'd probably drive you fucking mentally crazy. Which, I can't lie, it probably will. This shit's bad. Like, it's all over my fucking body. And normal people would probably have to flip fucking shit. Normal people probably can't handle it. When I first got this stuff and that on my face, I literally freaked the fuck out. The reason why I got it, because I ate like a fucking moron. I ate so much processed foods now. Like, it's basically just simple things like fruit roll-ups and shit. I used to eat so much of that crap. And like, my body eventually just kind of say, okay, well, you're going to be producing a lot of inflammation now, so now I have a fucking skin disorder. My stomach lining was all fucked up. You know, this was happening when I was in my, like, early 20s. I mean, is it getting better? It's slowly getting better, but once when something gets bad, you have to get it from you have to stop it from being bad first to getting better. It's like, once you reverse a process, that's when healing begins. Doesn't mean it's going to go away right away. That means it's going to take even more time. So I always see when people get really fucking fat, and they're like, oh, I'm fat, I can't help myself from being fat. I say, it takes years and years and years and years. This is decades in advance. That's why you're fat. I said, because you were devoted that way because your parents were like that. If your parents are like that, you're like that. Sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes when they see their parents being like that, they changeably want to do the opposite. I knew one lady that, you know, she was actually really fucking attractive. She was someone that was a friend of one of my friends. And she was talking to me, kind of had a conversation about that, you know, I guess I got her number now, we started talking and shit. And she even told me that, she's like, yeah. She's like, me and my brother lift a lot of weights and stay skinny, and we worry about our health and that because our mom's fat. You know, and he's just like, I don't want to be like that. So he started lifting weights and that. And he started doing, you know, and he looked like he did fucking steroids. That boy was way too fucking ripped. He had so much mass on him and that, it was ridiculous. He's barely like fucking like 18 years old, and he had like a bodybuilder body. It was ridiculous. But you know, I digress, because you can grow a lot when you're young, you know, when you're 16, 17, that. You know, I'm fucking 36, and I've noticed a huge size difference of just working out for 6 months. And working out a decent amount. And the results are always going to be there, because it's hard for shit to go away. But yeah. No, and she was in incredible shape. She had a nice fat round butt on her and that. She was very, very pretty in that. And I mean, obviously, I don't know what happened to her, and that I believe something happened with her brother. I think her brother died or something like that, because he's being reckless with a motorcycle and that. Supposedly, I guess I have no potential idea, but that was fucking forever ago. Shit, like that was probably like 10 years ago since that shit happened. So I have no idea where this person's at now. Hopefully she's married to a good man. I hope she has kids and shit. She's only like maybe like 3 or 4 years older, but she's probably like 30 now. She'd have to be at least 30. But yeah, that's that devotion. That devotion right there is what drove them to like do all that stuff. And that's something that most people can never do because it's really hard to do it. But that makes good siblings. Like, I wish my life was like that when I was younger. And I wish I was really into fitness and that. I like fitness. I love martial arts. I love training and that. But no one was really into it with my family and that. My older brother used to lift a lot of weights and that. Like, did a lot of push-ups and shit. But, like, we never really did stuff together, really. It was kind of like just off-brand, do-it-yourself kind of thing. So just that devotion with siblings is fucking astounding. Like, it was utterly astounding to see siblings do all that stuff. And it's not to say that you need that to be able to perform, but it's good to have it, though. It's getting hot in my room. That snow on top of my roof's probably heat ventilating my whole damn room. The one thing about snow, I have to say, when you get enough snow built up in that, it's like a little cocoon of heat. Cause it's like fucking hot in my room. Cause we have the roof's like right above me. It's like really not a super thin roof, but it's pretty thin. That snow is like compacting all the heat I have in my room. So it kind of like ventilates around my room. The room's trying to compact. I have my bed. My bed's rather big. It's pretty much right up against the wall in the back corner of my room. I have my TV and all my electronics, all my heat is all next to each other. And so all the heat kind of just gathers up in my cloth and all my bed and that, so everything stays rather warm. Yeah, I know I'll go on these fucking long rants to that, but life is great, and we shouldn't sit there and try to hate on each other, or hate ideas, or hate on anybody just because of jealousy. Like, I remember one conversation that someone had, and it was they were both close to the same age. The manager guy in that, you know, he had a good life in that because his dad was, you know, a good man, I guess. He worked hard and all that stuff and that. And he's always very loving towards, you know, him and that. Like, well, it's his only child, I believe. And the other person, you know, her father, you know, divorced her mom, or her mom divorced her and that, and she was making fun of the other person's family and that, trying to be like, well, you're just spoiling that because you have all this and you have all these luxuries and that. And like, and he was just like, I work for my shit, you know. He's one of our managers. He's just young. He works hard. He doesn't complain that much like you do, and he's actually he makes his own money in that. You know, you make money in that, but you spend it all on being depressed and having anxiety in that. And I said, and this is the biggest thing about drugs. This is what people never understand, why drugs are bad. Alcohol is a drug, okay? It's narcotic. Weed is an upper, you know, it's an upper and a downer. It's a placebo and it's a narcotic. Heroin, narcotic. A downer, basically. Meth, an upper. Crack, an upper. Cocaine, an upper. Fentanyl, evidently, is a downer. I learn all this shit because people talk about it all the damn time. I have to say, like, all these things will regulate what? Emotions. All those emotions that you're getting from those drugs are demons. Whoa! That's really pushing it. No, it's not. Because when you learn the word alcohol in Hebrew, it's called alcohol. It's a demon. It means demonic. It means possessive. Like when I drink alcohol, I feel the demon creeping up in me. I feel the difference. And I fight it. Because I don't like it. My spirit fights it. I'm not even joking you. Like, I drink a little bit of booze. Like, I'll have a beer with a meal in that. Because Jesus never said we can't do it. He says if everything is good, if you use it in praising God the Father. So if you cheer to heaven up above and say, hey, no, this is for you, then drinking it is giving him praise. then the blessing gets produced. But if you drink it because your anxiety, you already got the demon in you, and you're drinking for that anxiety, you're drinking for the demon in you. And when you distort yourself, the demon reacts to it and says, the mind's stupid. Let's do whatever you want to do. You're like, yeah, do whatever you want to do. And you do stupid shit. That's why I tell people, when I get drunk and then I can't do those things. And they'll say, why? Because I don't need to. I don't feel like it's going to change anything, but I feel creeped up. Demons want you to feel worthless. That's why they want your body to be as dull and as weak as possible. Why? Because it's easier to control. The biggest thing demons like to do is torment God's children. They like to torment you because it's fun for them and they don't give a fuck about you. They had bodies before, they want to possess your body to do their bidding. When they're rebellious, you become rebellious because they are rebellious. That's why you see people that are rebellious. Them are demons. They're not physically, spiritually, they're demonic. That's why they do those things. People want to say that, we are who we are. No. We're struggling between the evil in our hearts and the goodness in our hearts. We choose to take more good out of it, then we become more good. We take evil out, we become more evil. But the separation of evil and good is kind of a thin line because a lot of people, unfortunately, don't understand it. They say, well, I do good things, but you could be evil. Someone that could do bad things, according to the evil people, like beating up a child molester or something, some wicked people might think that's not good. Like, that's violence and that. No, that's righteous justice. And God himself speaks of it. So, if anyone ever sees people, now, you have to have proof of it, obviously. That's why it's called righteous justice. It's not, you can't just make up shit. Because that means that you're a fool. That means you're doing evil things that are not true. This is why when people use that pedo word all the time, which, I heard it multiple times towards me, in various ways, we're ignorant. Because when you establish that you are older, doesn't matter what you say, people that think that because they're 20 or in their 20s and that they're still children, and they're not. And these people out there are like this. The lady at my job that says this stuff about me, and she likes to fucking fuck with me. She likes to flirt with me, and she does it all the time. And it blows my mind how fucking ignorant and stupid this person is. And she'll say it out of anger, but that anger distorts you to being in that reality. Your anger really speaks the truth of your heart. That's what anger exists for. It speaks the truth. Doesn't matter if it's faulty or not. It still speaks whatever is true in your heart. And I heard it, and I'm just sitting there, and I got furious with it. It's like, so accusational fucking saying is so slander. And I was trying to explain to my manager, I was like, if you guys hear this stuff and that, if I hear it in that, it's like, I wouldn't mind dropping 10 grand on a lawyer to sue the fucking shit out of this broke ass woman for slandering my name. All I need is one recording. Because that's effectiveness of why God says to be true with your words. Because you say faulty things of people, doesn't matter if you want to think that's right or not. You think that God doesn't hear it? You think that God doesn't see that you're saying faulty stuff about someone that's trying to get reborn, that's trying to become closer to him? Of course he sees it. That doesn't go unheard of. Now, how God deals with these things, well, that depends on God. Jesus deals with things in mysterious ways, so it's not like I'm going to know exactly. No, because it ain't none of my fucking business. Now, can I think of things that could happen? Yeah, because it'd be kind of fun to think of things. Because the truth of that person is, they can hear stuff, they might believe it, but doesn't mean it's exactly what they try to believe, because they'd be lying to themselves if it's true, because they are lying to themselves, because they heard from someone else, because of something that happened. And I always tell people this. One of the things I always say, when I see a young lady that 16, 17, 18, that, probably in high school now, or just getting out of high school now, I say that she's, like, oh, you're cute today, I'm praising them for attraction. Doesn't mean I want to get with the person. You can say a dog's cute. Doesn't mean you want to get with a fucking dog, you morons. That's exactly what it is. People want to distort that reality, like I talked about before. And they do it all the time. And then they start using these words like pedo and shit. Like, calling you cute doesn't mean that I'm trying to get with you, dumb fuck. That's why, like, men nowadays can't really say the things they're used to saying, that because women are so controllative over what things happen. I say, when women control things, all hell breaks loose. You get a bunch of fucking morons that are around with pussy hats on, and then what happens? All men become weak and inferior, and women become weak and inferior too, because they're not supposed to be on top for a fucking reason. That's the whole point of female and male. Or male and female. We're supposed to resign together. The male's supposed to be the leader because he's a strong-willed person. He's supposed to be strong-willed. That's why he has bigger muscles. That's why he has different joints and that. He has more ligaments and shit. He's supposed to be stronger. We're supposed to carry the weight of the world on our back for a reason. But this is how people distort realities and that. But when I look at people that, say these specific things, and I'm just like, you're not a kid, but these are the people that want to sit there, and I heard this too. One lady I used to work with and that. I really like to dig into this subject a lot of why when people say things are not true, and they want you to do it because they're so fucking afraid. It's a hard topic to talk about, but I really don't give a fuck. When you announce something, especially as a word that's very negative on society and that, and you're trying to say that, and you're trying to push these narratives onto someone that's not, what do you think's gonna happen? The person's gonna fucking hate you, first of all. I hate people that call me that stupid ass shit. I hate it to the point of destruction because it's so degrading. I was saying it's like, well, I have nothing against me, so saying such words is complete bullshit. But why do you say such words? Jealousy, hatred, revenge, all these petty ass things that people like to say. It's like because you're a wicked, foolish, ugly person. That's why you say these things. And it's like, you don't want to respect anyone else's way of feelings. So as I have to do when I hear such negative things, I have to tone it out. I speak my words, and I tone it out. And because they're going to keep on saying these things, and it's like, well, you're just negative altogether. And it's like, you can't even be nice to people anymore, or they just turn into pure fucking evil because they don't get their fucking way. Like one of the young ladies that used to, work with in that. She was 19 when she came in. She was a fucking adult. She was out of high school and all that shit now. She was 19. And off and on, we would kind of we would hang out at work and that because we work at a car wash. So it was actually, nothing to do sometimes. We talk about stuff that basically be hanging out and that. And occasionally, she would want to, we'd go out for lunch and that together and that. And we'd sit there and start talking and that. We were just, I thought of her as my coworker. I didn't really think of it. I mean, she was really fucking attractive, extremely hot, honestly. She was very, very beautiful in that. Very, very nice body in that. She was really cautious about what she ate and stuff like that, And so as we got closer in that, her mind was still like a fucking, like a high school kid. She didn't really mature that much. And so that was kind of one of the things that, you know, I hopefully passed down to her, that she would mature in that. And, you know, of course, you start hanging out with someone that you're, you know, and she was very attractive in that. You know, I started developing feelings for her. And, you know, I let it, I was laying it low, and that I wasn't really trying to do in that, but it was like balanced feelings. Like, I'm just someone I like to be with, because we were quite the same. We talk about the same things and that, you know. She was, you know, more conservative in that, you know, and she had faith in her and that, but she was still misguiding that because of the way her mom was and that, you know, whatever the fuck that happened in her life and that. And, so we started to get closer in that, and she was trying to tell me all the stuff that she did and that, and of course other guys would come in and that, they would get fucking jealous in that because we'd be all hanging out in that, and they would all say stuff. Of course, young men always attack older men, be like, oh, he's just in it trying to get in your pants and that. I'm like, it doesn't matter what happens. It's none of your fucking business. Your jealousy is breaching, not because you're not getting the attention that I'm getting when I don't even want the attention that you want. It was never sexual to begin with, what these young men were always saying in that. And because that's what they want, and they tried multiple times, and I'm hearing it from this young lady that I hung around with and fucking knew her for like a whole year ago. And I'm just like, I'm always going to confront the younger guys in that, because they're, you know, like 18, all that stuff in that, 19, 18. And I'm just like, you guys need to stop lying about this shit. You guys lie so much about stuff. And so you start getting all these lies and stuff starts going back and forth, and there's a whole bunch of back and forth, a bunch of bullshit and that. People are lying, saying this, saying that. So at the break end of it, you know, one of the things that she always complained about, and I don't know why she complained about it so much, and then it started to click eventually. She always complained about my age because she wanted to get with me, wanted to be closer to me, but the age was too far away. I'm like, well, yeah, we're several years apart, you know, a decade or so apart, I understand. I came down to the conclusion, I was like, if that's what you really want to do, then that's what you really want to do, then do it. If you don't want to do it, then I'm not going to force you to do anything, because I never want to force anything on anybody else that they don't want to deal with, because society pressures always kill people. Like, oh my god, you're dating someone that's way older than that. I understand people, like, complain about it. But love is not anything that has to do with, you know, the age gap, unless it's a specific gap of, like, little bit older. The person was fucking 20 years old. So inside her mind, she devoted to say these things towards me because she wants to be part of the world. So she called me the P word, and I'm just like, wait a minute, you're like 20 years old. I never resort to anything of getting close to you. You're banging other dudes and that, and you're telling me about all this shit. And you're looking at me as a father figure. I say, yes, most women that have daddy issues always bang older men. That's just how it is, because you want that, what? You want that father figure. That's why they always do that shit. That's why I call them daddy issue people. And I don't know 100%, but there has been sign after sign after sign that she wants to get closer to me, and I denied it. And trust me, you deny a girl that wants you, they get fucking pretty upset, and they get clueless on why that they're not getting what they want. Like I said, she's a very attractive woman that any other guy would probably want to bang her, I ain't gonna lie. She was very, very beautiful. Probably one of the most beautiful chicks I've ever seen in my life. Like, in person. She was very gorgeous. And she didn't see it from my perspective, she only saw it from her perspective. And there's multiple times she's done really silly stuff that would, like, she would try to, like, provoke me in a way. I just ignored it. Because she was used to guys crawling all over. And I was trying to explain to her in silence, you know, to discipline her, like, this isn't how you should be towards a man. So then other things occur. We started hanging out. Now, this was before the very end of it when she was being all dramatic about it. We started actually hanging out a lot. She came over to my house multiple times. And we'd sit there and watch TV together, and we'd talk about things and that. And she would be the one calling me, and she would be like, I want to hang out with you. I said, if any woman's calling a man, that means that woman really actually really likes that man, because normally it's the other way around. So I'm like, okay, we'll come over and that, we'll go watch a movie and that's cool, and that we'll go talk and that. So we're watching a movie and that, we're having philosophical conversations and that, and it brought us so fucking close. We were literally falling in love with each other, basically. She didn't understand it, but I did, and I tried to explain it to her. She just she understood it, but she didn't know how to go through with it, because she was basically saying, I never felt in love with anyone. I never had a boyfriend. I said, well, this is what love actually is. It's communication between two people that are attracted to each other. That's why attraction happens first, and then you get drawn in from attraction. And then other things attract you through personality and through things that you do. And that if you guys connect really well, and that you guys can start a relationship. But this young lady didn't understand that. And I was trying to explain to her, because I don't want to see anyone like this, because it's so degrading, So I brought up Jesus, and I brought up God and that a lot, and that I was going through my period of understanding, the Bible a little bit more in that, and started going through that. I said, well, I mean, I even tried to say, because, she got a boyfriend now. I said, well, just stay with your boyfriend now, trying to be really, but she would always come back to me for information, like she didn't know who to go to in that. So she was using me as a guiding point. I'm like, yeah, but it's like, I'm in love with you. That's why I'm distorting myself to push back my love and try to give you unconditional love. I mean, it affects me way more now, because I can't confess to you. And when I do confess to you, you're going to take it in the wrong way. And then that's what basically happened. And so I give you unconditional love to try to push you through this guiding point so you can learn how to be a better woman. But as that unconditional love starts to, get to that point where love actually wants to succeed, and I want to be in love with you, I want you to be with me, it fell apart. So you took the unconditional love, and when real love started to kick in, which I know the moment that it happened, she wants to deny it, but you can't deny love, because love is always there. It was utter peacefulness. And I always bring this up in that, and she really wants to deny it, wants to think that it's weakness. I say, when you want to think that being in love, that full-on peace, which I think a lot of people should understand, full-on, no worry, peaceful love is the best feeling in the fucking world that you could ever have. No worries. And so that's what God wants us to be together, people, because when you're together with someone, that your worries diminish, because you're underneath what God calls a covenant. And so why am I bringing this up? And that because people distort their realities to fit the world needs over what God wants us to be. So if me say I knew that she was in love with me, but she couldn't be in love with me because the world was telling her, because that we were separated by a good amount of age. And I said, well, God doesn't allow that to matter, because women normally date older men specifically because of the age of maturity in that. And I said, if you love someone, then love someone. It had in the Bible that a young man dated an older woman, because the young man was 20, and the older woman was probably in her 40s and that. And they had children together and that, and they were in love. They loved each other. They loved being together with each other. They loved talking to each other. They loved everything about each other. They weren't commanded by the world to not be. God commanded them to be. They didn't care about what the world said. And it kind of affects me, because the retaliation of, us not actually getting together because of what she thought her reality was. We had the perfect match. We both were the same kind of people in that. We both liked psychological talk. She liked murder. She liked to do investigations of murders and that, those psychologics of people and that. And like we were really close. That's why we always hung out. And she always wanted me to be with her. And I said, if you always want to be with me, then fucking be with me then. Why are you distorting yourself to be with all these other people that don't even fucking like you? They don't even like you. They like you because you got a fat ass on you because you're really pretty. That's it. So your beauty to me is something that I enjoy, but it's not something that I want all the way. And that's what this person never understood. And I hope that she does, because, I would love to be with her. She just turned 21 in that, last October next. Her birthday's in October now. And, and we had a little thing going on with us. I say, no, it's probably not going to be till you're like 25 and that when you start to realize that you could just be with me. And she kind of was like talking about it with me. We were kind of joking about that. And she's probably saying, yeah, it's probably not going to be till then anyway. Because really, she really wanted it. And I said, well, then take it then. I'd rather be with someone that I love than have the world that doesn't really fucking appreciate me love me. Because they don't love you at all anyway. I'd rather have that one person that loves me I can cherish life with. Because I did. I cherished life with this, with this woman, and I cherished it even today. I remember all the good things. We used to go out all the time for that. I like, spend money and then we'd go dinners and that. We would just eat dinner and that, and just have fun talking and that. It was really basic. We're fucking dating. And she didn't take it as traditional dating. She took it as non-traditional dating. I said, that's the problem it is. When I'm with a woman, I want to be with a woman. I'm not going to take her out for fucking fun. I take her out because I really am excited about being with her. That's what the distortion is nowadays. I say, when you depend yourself on one person you go all the way with that person. And that's the idea it was. She wasn't used to it. I said, that's because you're not traditional. You don't understand it. You can't understand because you're smart enough to understand it. So basically it is, I remember it. The guy that she was, doing stuff with and that, she basically was dating both of us. But I was kind of like, ish. Like, I was along for the ride. I guess you could say I was dating that, but it wasn't, like, fulfilled because she never fulfilled it. She would kind of, like, push against it. So we would go out and that, and, we'd go out to her favorite restaurant. She liked to go out to Texas Roadhouse. She liked to go out and get steaks and that. I know. That's what made her really hot in that, because she, like, eats steaks and that. And I'm like, damn, that's my kind of girl. And like the man she was with and that, it was the last point of us doing this. And before we did that, this is where the heart throbbing love started to set in. This is where we actually start to fulfill our love for each other at this moment. And it was just that split moment where it was just a release of complete love and contention. Oh, she wants to deny it, of course, but whatever, it doesn't matter. What I felt is what I felt, and I stay true to what God gives me the feeling to stay true to. I like to tell the story in that because it implicates why people don't want to be in love, because they don't know what love actually is, and they try to hide it. Because they like the world. They care about what the world thinks about them, but not what God thinks about them. And this is why I despise what happened. That I actually hate it a lot. I hate the way that she acted after the fact. So, we're going out there and I think we went to, I believe we went to Walmart or something like that. And she wanted to get a new Apple Watch or whatever the fuck it is. And it was, I think it was a little bit before her birthday or something like that. Before she turned 20. And I was just sitting there. And, I've been hanging out with her for a while now. We worked together and she always wanted to hang out with me and that. And I'm getting kind of quiet with it because it really touches me that I bring this up, because I really do enjoy this person a lot. Just the betrayal of her really kind of hit me hard, and I had to deflect it because I didn't want to feel like shit. And it was sad that we were meant to be together, but she took the world route and she took the Satan route. Satanic shit does fucking exist. This shit is actually fucking real. Because I basically lost a lover because of satanic worldly bullshit. So, the spirit world is real. Demons are real. They don't want you to feel love. They don't want you to be in love with anyone. They want you to be hateful and deceit. And that's basically what happened. And this is before I was actually reborn. And I have to say, if it was like it was supposed to be, I would have been the happiest man in the fucking world. I loved this woman so much. It was just so heartbreaking to see, despite that we were, our ages where they were, but, we want to say, I have to say she's of age. She was of age. When this happened, that she was about to turn fucking 20. And so, the best thing I ever did, if you're a guy like this and you do this stuff and that, trust me, women desire this the most. So anyway, so she picked out her watch and that. She didn't have a lot of money, and she's like, I only have so much money in that, and stuff like that. And she wanted to buy it for herself. And she had her card out in that, and I pushed her off to the side, and I put my card in, and I paid for it, and instantly her mind just went poof. Her heart pounded, and her mind literally just confessed that her heart really confessed, like, this man legitimately actually cares about me, because he wouldn't be trying to do this stuff if he did. And so I call it sleight of hand. So I kind of butt her out of the way, and I paid for it. And so like, we went through the whole cycle, and I bought it all and that. And then had the casing that she wanted, and she's like, let's get the casing later and that. And then she was talking to me like she was confessing herself to me, like she was confessing how much at that time she felt. She's like, I can't believe you did that for me and all that stuff. And that's like, I don't know why you did that. And so I was like, I don't think I said I loved her, and I was like, I really like you and that, It's like we hang out all the time and that, it's almost your birthday and that, so happy early birthday. And she was sitting there, and she was kind of remorsing in that, because she really legitimately was like surprised that a man did something like that for her, because she was so used to doing it on her own. I said, that's the reason why you don't respect men. Because men don't respect the ideas that you have, because the men that you're trying to get with are all simps and bitches. Real men want to respect the woman that they want to be with. And I respected her so fucking much, it was ridiculous. And it developed love. That's what love is deep respect for someone. And then I asked her, like, well, let's go out here, what do you want to do? And then we'll go out to eat. She's like, oh, really? And it's like, yeah. It's like, I'll pay for this stuff. And it's like, oh, you don't have to. I'll pay for half. I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. We'll just go out there. And she literally decided to say, I'll pay for my own food. You don't ever hear any woman that if a woman loves you, Nat, she'll literally tell you that. And that's what it was. She always would say, I like to pay for my food. And I think what it was eventually came down to that she ended up paying for all of it. And she said, I'll pay for this one because you want me this and that. She was being really sweet. No loving woman would ever say this if they weren't in love with the man. Most women would never do that because they have to show something. It's like, well, you bought her something. Yeah, but it was a gift. A gift means that it was my honor to give her something that she desired because it makes her happy. Trust me, it works. It works all the time. Now, people take advantage of it, of course. But it's just how it is. So we did a whole dating thing. I bought her a gift and that. We both went out together. We're talking together and that. We always get the same food and that. We always have the same waitress and that waiter and that. And we went to Texas Roadhouse probably like 10 times. And we always constantly went there and that. And we always had the same people and that. We had the same stuff and that. And like, we were just so devoted with each other. And it felt like complete love, and I understand it now what she was going through, because it's been like, fuck me, dude, it's been over a year, almost 2 years now since it happened. You know, she had her birthday in October, and that was last October. Not this October. Yeah, it was 2 Octobers ago when that. Man, she just turned 21, man. Oh, damn. I'm about to hit fucking 36. Yeah, we're about 14 and a half years apart, but still. I always said, it's like, you know what? Deep inside, I always know that if this person really honestly cares for me and loves me like I felt that she did, she would always come out and find it. Because I always tell people that, like, when you find someone you love and you really fucking love, you want to be with, and like, say, like, if something like this happens, and they're like, something happens where you have to space apart in that, you always find yourself again. And like, and I told her, I was like, probably gonna beat you like 25 in that before we actually can like fully confess, stuff in that. Cause I always confess to her, it's like, I really really like you in that, not because you're beautiful in that, because you connect really well in that, we like the same things in that, we both like horror movies in that. And I said, once you start to grow past this whirly thing about doing this, doing that, you start just wanting to just be happy in that, then you'll start to notice that you want to get back. So that's the whole standpoint. And when after all that stuff happened, and I tried to tell her that you should just confess to everybody that you say that, yeah, I'm in love with him and I want to be with him and that, but it came out the opposite. And I started hearing a bunch of stuff and that she started hating on me. Fucking hilarious. She went from full on we were loving each other to actual hatred, but it wasn't hatred as in it was afraid hatred. It was she was scared to confess. And I said, well, it happened. Doesn't matter if you deny it, it still happened. And she said all the most terriblest things towards me just to fit the whirly thing. And the dude that she was supposedly fucking with was a 4-foot fucking tall motherfucker and that. And he was thinking that he was all tough and shit. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna deal with this. I said, just like what God says, depart from me because you don't want to be with me. You don't want my love, then go fuck yourself then. That's basically what happened. I said, you realize what the love that I have for you, what you had for me, but you deny it, then depart from me. I don't have nothing to do with you. You're that immature. I gave you all this love. I gave you all this respect, and you still don't understand it. That's how God feels with us all the time. I gave you all this love. I gave you all this respect, but you still don't understand me. But God's more merciful. He waits more because he knows more. Now, here's the thing. Do I wait until she's 25 before I even decide to do anything with anybody else? If she's worth the wait, then more or less likely it's true. But after what happened that day and that, I decide to not do anything with her. And then what happened is I end up becoming someone else's fucking boyfriend. Another woman that I work with now, she's close to my age and that, and she knew it because they were both fighting for my affection. And we start getting closer now, and I start falling in love with her, and she was a fucking mistake. So I always just sort to the reality. If you're not a traditional woman, don't try to be with a traditional man, because you're always going to fail. Because I keep righteousness in my heart as much as I can. I despise people that don't want to love. I don't want to be used just because of sexual intercourse or because of a fucking money date. I want to be someone who wants to cherish the fucking life with me. And that's what's the breaking down point of the message that I'm trying to give out to everybody. Your love matters more than anything else. If it's righteous love and you feel that I constantly want to be with someone, nothing should separate you. Especially when people are of age and people always want to determine if someone's 30 and a 50-year-old or a 40-year-old likes you and that, you're going to say, well, you're too old for me. I said, That's the biggest thing that always seems to go down with women logic. Women don't want to be with younger people. But the thing of it is, some of them do that age shit. And that's one of the things that this lady talked about with me, this young lady did. I don't hate her, I hate what she did. It was so demoralizing and so untruthful. And I got called so many fucking names. I'm just like, wow, you guys are really... And that's what God talks about. People are going to hate you for my sake. Because they hated me first. And honestly, she started hating on me. Because of the whole age difference and that. And she made up all these excuses. I'm like, you know what? I stand strong with what my feelings are. And if you don't want to do it, then fuck off. Because you know what's going to happen is... You're going to fall in line with the same dudes. They're going to use you for that ass. You're going to have sex with a whole bunch of fucking dudes and that. No one's going to appreciate you for you. And then you're going to be like your fucking mom. And you're going to be all distorted and all fucked up and that. And that's what I didn't want for you. But you decided to take that road. Just like when God said, you know what, you don't want to take my love, so you got to go your own separate way. Oh man. 10 o'clock. The fuck is this? Your cloud data is immediately removed in the Cloud X subscription. I don't have a Cloud X subscription. Wow, there's a lot of junky shit out there. Look at this shit. Payment denied. Returnally renewed your Cloud X subscription. I don't have a Cloud X subscription. What the fuck does it mean? Photos, videos, storage, clouds. Okay, I don't give a fuck. I don't use my phone for anything. There's so much fucking bullshit out there. Oh, I need to go to the bathroom anyway. Shit. Man. Yeah, sorry about all that talking, man. Something I gotta talk about every now and again.